good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Jhino, and we're back with another reaction. Today we got why Harvard studied this footballer, and in this case we're talking about the real football, or as we call it in the United States, soccer. So from the thumbnail it looks like they were talking about Thomas Muller, but I'm not sure. We're gonna see exactly what they're talking about. We're gonna see why they decided to study him. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into the video.
Doesn't usually study footballers, but they made an exception for Thomas Muller. Harvard doesn't usually study footballers, but they made an exception for Thomas Muller.
Yeah, so like I said, Thomas Muller spent most of his career playing for Bayern Munich. I think he plays for the Whitecaps, I believe, in MLS. I'm not sure. I know he plays in MLS, but I'm not sure which club. But I only know this because I play soccer or football, and then I watch it all the time. So
why? Because he breaks every rule of what greatness is supposed to look like. No Mbappé speed, no Messi dribbling, no Ronaldo body, and yet he's won more than almost anyone, outsmarted legends, and redefined what it means to lead on and off the pitch. This is the Muller mystery, and the deeper you go, the more it sounds like a masterclass in leadership. Welcome to Athletic Interest. Thomas Muller is synonymous to the city of Munich, but his story actually starts roughly 50 kilometers southwest. Muller was born in a small countryside village called Pel, the kind of place where cows probably outnumber humans, and the local copper museum counts as a tourist attraction. So what do you do for fun in rural Bavaria? Exactly, you play football. Early on, Muller fell in love with the beautiful game, but this isn't your classic prodigy's tale. He wasn't the most gifted player, he wasn't strong or fast, but in the year 2000, Bayern Munich saw something in him and brought him into their youth academy. That decision would pay off big time. By the age of 18, Muller was promoted to the first team, and in August 2008, he made his professional debut. In no time, Muller became irreplaceable and appeared in every game in his first full season.
Every game? Dang. That's kind of crazy, to be honest. Like, because you see players nowadays, new people who they sign, and especially younger players, they do not get to play every single game. Dang, he showed up for every single game his first full season. Wow.
Louis van Gaal famously said, "Muller always plays," and he wasn't kidding. Since Muller's debut, FC Bayern has played 885 matches. Muller appeared in 756 of them.
Dang. That's very impressive. So he only missed, was that 100 and about 130? He only missed about 130 games.
Nobody has more.
That's not bad.
He spent almost his entire career at Bayern. And while
what did I say? I know my stuff. I know my stuff.
Loyalty like that is rare in modern football.
But it's even, like, they're talking about loyalty, but it's even crazier that they didn't sell him or get rid of him sooner, because they're always doing transfers and all that type of stuff. So it's crazy that they even allow him to stay. But you also don't know the different deals and agreements that they came to as well, because sometimes clubs will get rid of you if, I know for a big one is like financials. Like if a player is taking up a lot of the budget, then they won't keep you. So that may have been a factor. He may have took a little pay cut so other people can come in. He may have took a lesser role, which is probably most likely what he did as he got older and older, you know, and you got new people, new stars coming in. But it's actually still crazy that they kept him on the team for that long.
And rarer is how consistent he was. Let's look at the numbers. Muller scored 250 goals for Bayern, plus 276 assists. But that's just domestic. How about the European stage? Only Ronaldo, Casillas, and Messi have more Champions League appearances. And he even has more Champions League wins than anyone not named Cristiano Ronaldo. Not to mention a lot of matches and goals for the German national team.
I were him, I'd bundle my home and auto and pick up the real victory. Savings.
Bink.
But of course, it's not just stats. Nobody has won the Bundesliga more often, and in total, no German player has a bigger trophy collection. That's more than the likes of Kroos, Modric, Xavi or Benzema, and he even dared to pass King Zlatan. So much for the numbers. But how did he achieve all of this? The answer to this question leads us to Harvard Business School. Usually, they are doing research on guys like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. But now they were interested in Müller. According to their case study, Müller's brilliance comes down to 3 key skills. One of them lies in his footballing ability, but the other 2 are actually qualities that every CEO or manager could learn from. But first, let's take a closer look at what he does so well on the pitch. Let's be honest, Müller is not built like a typical modern athlete, and yet he's elite, because that is the whole point. Everything about Thomas Müller's style of play is weird. Everything looks a bit random, unorthodox, chaotic, but it's not. His biggest skill is something you simply cannot train. Müller is famously called the Raumdeuter, which translates to space interpreter. It basically means his superpower is being in the right place at the right time. He has a radar for space.
And see, like, this video also shows that you don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the strongest. You don't have to be the biggest. Because a lot of people focus a lot on the physical when it comes to sports, which that is a part of it, but a lot of people don't train their brain enough and don't train the IQ enough. And that's one of the main things, because you can have these physical attributes, but if you don't know how to use them, when to use them, then what's the point of even having them? So this is a good example of it's not always about having the best physical attributes and being the status quo of whatever sport you play. Sometimes it's also, most of the time, it's also about what you got up here. So
and opportunity, like a sixth sense for where the ball will go, where defenders will blink, and where the chaos will happen. And when that tiny window opens, Müller is already there. Boom, goal. Müller shows you don't need flashy tricks or physical domination when you are the fastest thinker on the pitch. And he beats you with positioning, instinct, and football IQ. Sure, he's not the one for the highlight reels, and this might be the reason he never won Bundesliga MVP, but he's always been extremely valuable for the team. And at the end of the day, that wins championships. But this alone doesn't explain a 17-year run at an elite club. This is where Müller's soft skills come into play. According to Harvard, his leadership, adaptability, and influence within a high-performance environment set him apart from most other players. Throughout his career, Müller was known for being the most coachable, versatile, and mentally resilient guy in the squad. During his time at Bayern, coaches have come and gone. Tactics changed, and the club brought in many stars. Ribéry, Robben, Lewandowski, Coman, Sané, even Coutinho for a gap year. But somehow Müller was the one who stayed. Other players got benched and then sold. They weren't able to adapt. But Müller always wanted to evolve. He knew that it was necessary for the team's success. And so he started every season by asking himself, where can I bring the most value to the team? For example, when Lewandowski joined Bayern, Müller knew that it would be tough for him to keep playing as a striker, so he focused on improving as a winger. He always just shape-shifted into whatever role was needed and made it work.
And see, that's very important, because a lot of players I even play with to this day, they're very selfish when it comes to playing. Like, they don't want to play unless it's in their position and everything's lined up right. But sometimes, depending on which team that you're playing for and the circumstances, you may need to switch up. You may need to be adaptable. Like me, I prefer to do any like attacking position when I play. And for those who know the game, I prefer to be a winger, a striker, or a midfield. But sometimes, if the team's not playing the best, I sometimes drop back and play defense. And it's not necessarily for the defending. It's more so for the fact of I can get the ball deeper and I can help us kind of build and progress the play from the back. But a lot of people won't see that, and they're not adaptable, and they're like, oh well, if I can't play striker, then I don't want to play at all because that's all I want to play. Oh, if I can't play on the left side of the field, then I don't care. I don't want to play because that's the only spot that I want to play in. But it's like you gotta quit being selfish, and I care more about being valuable to a team rather than always playing in my preferred position. And I also see the what most people see as a challenge. I also see it as an opportunity to grow and learn more about a different position, especially if it's just playing pickup in the park or something. Like, bruh, why wouldn't you just change up the position? Like, it's not always about being the MVP, the one out in front. Like, sometimes you have to do what's best for the team, but a lot of people just they don't want to do it. Selfish.
Like a footballing chameleon. According to the Harvard study and Müller himself, this resilience is what sets him apart. Even if he's already sprinted and pressed 10 times without success, he'll do it again and again. This quality still shows today. His move to the MLS is Müller's first team other than Bayern. New league, new teammates, new environment. It doesn't seem to matter.
I think I was
he
right.
Contributed 10 goals in his first 6 matches. Talking about adaptability.
I think he is
Unique skill set? Check. Resilient mindset? Check. But there's one last puzzle piece missing. And Harvard found out it's Müller's unique personality and his sense of humor. He is the comedian of the locker room. They even gave him the nickname Radio Müller for his non-stop banter.
So what does this have to do?
But there's more to it. Müller is also known for helping new teammates and young players to settle into the first team. He makes the locker room feel human and relieves pre-match tension. Plus, he is also the one who lifts the team when moral dips. Like after Bayern's heartbreaking loss in the 2012 Champions League final at their own stadium.
Dang.
Müller sent a text message to his teammates, telling them to keep their heads up and that they would win it next year. Which they did. Because behind all the goofy stuff he does is a natural leader who just doesn't take himself too seriously. And with that, he became a locker room, fan, and media favorite alike. Always authentic, always down to earth, and always with a few dad jokes up his sleeve.
Robert Lewandowski.
So these 3 skills are what made Thomas Müller the footballing legend he is. What's next for him? At 36, he is still going strong on the pitch, but soon he might be open for a new role. He is already set to work as a TV pundit during the 2026 World Cup. But the Harvard study actually suggests that because of his soft skills, Müller has executive potential. Some experts go even further and believe that his path is kind of destined. Matthäus, for example, predicts that Müller will become Bayern president one day. If that really happens remains to be seen, but one wouldn't be surprised to see him in an executive role in the future. Or as Oliver Bierhoff put it, if I were to bet on one player to be successful in his career after the career and do business in the future, it would be Thomas Müller. So now that it's solved, what can we learn from the Müller mystery? Since his debut, Thomas Müller is proving something every coach wants to teach. You don't have to be the most talented to be successful. And in a world that celebrates individual brilliance, he became successful by mastering the art of making everyone else better. And no matter if in sports or in life, isn't this what true greatness is all about?
So we're gonna end it right there. But yes, that was a great video. And like I said, I hope this is a great, if you're watching this, it's a great example of like, you don't always have to be, like I said earlier, the status quo, the norm. Like Thomas Müller, for a football player, is not your typical player, but he's still considered one of the greats. Like, very consistent, very reliable, adaptable. These are all traits you should, I guess, look at when, I guess, trying to build yourself and trying to be a better person. Because it doesn't have to just be in sports. This could be just in life in general. Like, stuff is always happening in life. If you're not adaptable, it'll break you or it'll make you. Hope you got something out of it. Hope you learned something new. And that was a fun watch. So, if you stay to watch the whole thing, you're a real one. I appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.